Godzilla vs. Thor. The ultimate showdown. Who would win? Ever wondered what would happen if two of the most powerful beings from different universes went head to head? Well, wonder no more. We're setting up the ultimate clash between the king of the monsters and the god of thunder. That's right, Godzilla vs. Thor. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, is this even a fair fight? But stick around, because we're gonna dive deep into who these titans are, what they're capable of, and imagine how an all-out battle between them might unfold. First up, let's talk about the big guy himself, Godzilla. For those who might not be familiar, Godzilla isn't just any giant monster. He's a cultural icon that roared into existence back in 1954. Created in Japan, Godzilla originally symbolized the devastating effects of nuclear weapons following World War II. Over the years, Godzilla has starred in tons of movies, comics, and even video games, evolving from a terrifying force of destruction to sometimes being humanity's unlikely protector against even worse threats. Physically, Godzilla is massive. Depending on the version, he can stand over 350 feet tall. That's like stacking the Statue of Liberty twice. And weighing in at around 90,000 tons, Godzilla is not someone you'd want to mess with on a bad day. His appearance is iconic. Rugged, scaly skin that acts like natural armor, massive dorsal plates running down his back, and a tail that can level buildings with a single swing. But perhaps his most famous feature is that devastating atomic breath. Godzilla's atomic breath is essentially a beam of concentrated nuclear energy that can obliterate almost anything in its path. He can also emit a nuclear pulse, a shockwave of nuclear energy that blasts away enemies nearby. Another incredible ability is his regenerative healing factor. This means he can recover from injuries much faster than normal creatures, making him even harder to defeat. Plus, he's amphibious, so he's just as comfortable causing mayhem underwater as he is on land. Godzilla's most notable feats. He has battled and often defeated other giant monsters, or kaiju, like King Ghidorah, a three-headed space dragon, and Mothra, a gigantic, mystical moth. He's survived direct hits from military weapons, including missiles and bombs, that would decimate lesser beings. But even Godzilla has his weaknesses. Certain types of energy weapons have been shown to harm or weaken him, especially if they disrupt his nuclear energy. If he's cut off from nuclear energy sources for too long, it could potentially diminish his powers. Let's swing the spotlight over to Thor. If you're new to the Marvel Universe, Thor is the Asgardian god of thunder and one of the mightiest heroes around. Originating from Norse mythology, Thor is the son of Odin, the All-Father, and hails from the mystical realm of Asgard. In Marvel Comics and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Thor's been a central character, known for his bravery, his booming laugh, and sometimes his lack of familiarity with Earth's customs. Physically, Thor possesses superhuman strength that far exceeds that of any mortal. He's lifted the Midgard serpent, a creature so massive it encircles the earth. He's durable too, able to withstand immense forces, and he's got an extended lifespan. Thor wields the mighty Mjolnir, a magical hammer made from enchanted Uru metal. Mjolnir isn't just a weapon, it's also the source of many of Thor's powers. It can summon lightning, control storms, and allow Thor to fly by flinging it through the air and holding on for the ride. Thor can control thunder and lightning even without his hammer. He can generate massive lightning bolts, create tornadoes, and even manipulate the weather on a planetary scale. In some stories, he wields Stormbreaker, an even more powerful axe that can summon the Bifrost. Thor has faced down some truly formidable foes. He's battled his mischievous brother Loki countless times, stood up against Hela, the goddess of death, and even took on Thanos, the guy who wiped out half the universe with a snap. Remember when Thor took the full force of a star to forge Stormbreaker? Thor sometimes lets his emotions get the better of him, which can cloud his judgment. The worthiness enchantment on Mjolnir. If Thor becomes unworthy, he loses the ability to wield his hammer and many of his powers along with it. Let's get down to business and see how these two juggernauts compare when we stack them up against each other. First up, strength. Godzilla's physical might is off the charts. He's toppled skyscrapers, tossed around other giant monsters, and his sheer size gives him a massive advantage. Thor, however, is no lightweight. He's gone toe-to-toe with the Hulk, lifted incredibly heavy objects, and his punches pack enough force to send enemies flying across continents. When it comes to durability, Godzilla has a thick, scaly hide that acts like natural armor. He's shrugged off missiles, bombs, and attacks that would obliterate most beings. Thor's Asgardian physiology makes him incredibly tough. He's survived energy blasts, falls from great heights, and even the vacuum of space. He also heals faster than humans. Godzilla's atomic breath is a devastating weapon, capable of leveling cities and defeating other kaiju. Thor wields Mjolnir or Stormbreaker, both of which are incredibly powerful weapons. He can summon lightning strikes that are immensely destructive. Godzilla relies on his natural defenses, his massive size and tough skin. Thor has Asgardian armor and can use his hammer to deflect attacks. Godzilla, being enormous, isn't the fastest on land, but he's surprisingly agile in water. Thor, on the other hand, can fly at incredible speeds, making him highly mobile in both air and space. Godzilla can absorb radiation to replenish his energy and even boost his powers. Thor's magic gives him an edge. His weapons are enchanted, and he can tap into mystical energies. His ability to summon storms could potentially interfere with Godzilla's energy absorption. Now, let's set the stage for this monumental clash. Picture this. A sprawling coastal megacity, something like Tokyo or San Francisco, with towering skyscrapers, bustling streets, and a vast harbor opening out to the ocean. The city offers a complex environment that could influence the battle significantly. For Godzilla, the proximity to water is a huge plus. He can retreat underwater when needed, launch surprise attacks from the depths, and possibly tap into underwater nuclear sources to recharge. Thor could use the city's verticality to his advantage, flying between skyscrapers, perching atop buildings to launch his attacks, and using his control over the weather to create localized storms. Civilians are now in danger. Thor, being a hero, would likely prioritize saving lives and minimizing destruction, while Godzilla might be less concerned with collateral damage. Both combatants could use the environment strategically. Godzilla might cause tidal waves or knock over buildings to impede Thor, while Thor could use his agility to outmaneuver Godzilla and protect key areas. With the battleground set, let's dive into how this epic battle could play out. Here we go. The moment we've all been waiting for. It's a bright afternoon in the city. People are enjoying their day when suddenly, the ocean starts to churn. Boats rock violently as a massive form rises from the depths. It's Godzilla. Panic ensues as the city scrambles to respond to this unexpected threat. High above, the sky cracks open with a rainbow-hued beam, the Bifrost. Thor descends, alerted by disturbances on Earth. He lands to find chaos unfolding. Thor gazes upon the towering figure of Godzilla. What beast threatens Midgard now? He wonders aloud. Godzilla locks eyes with Thor, perhaps sensing a new adversary. Without warning, Godzilla lets loose his atomic breath, the blue beam searing towards Thor. Thinking fast, Thor spins Mjolnir to create a shield, deflecting the blast into the sky. Impressive, Thor smirks. But you'll find I'm not so easily defeated. Thor takes to the air, lightning crackling around him. He hurls Mjolnir straight at Godzilla's head. The hammer strikes with a thunderous boom, causing Godzilla to stagger slightly. Godzilla responds by swinging his massive tail. Thor dodges, but the tail clips a skyscraper, sending debris raining down. Thor quickly summons winds to blow the rubble away from civilians below. He unleashes a torrent of lightning bolts, aiming to drive Godzilla back toward the ocean. Godzilla, however, starts absorbing the electrical energy. His dorsal plates glow brighter as he powers up. He fires another atomic breath, sweeping it across the cityscape. Buildings crumble, streets crack, the city is being torn apart. Thor, undeterred, channels a massive storm. Dark clouds swirl overhead, and a bolt of lightning, larger than any before, strikes Godzilla directly. The impact causes a shockwave that shatters windows for miles. But Godzilla isn't down yet. He unleashes his nuclear pulse, a wave of energy that knocks Thor out of the sky. Thor crashes into the harbor, momentarily dazed. Rising from the water, Thor has an idea. He summons Stormbreaker, his mighty axe, deciding it's time to end this. Thor channels the full might of the storm into Stormbreaker and throws it with all his strength. The axe sails through the air, slicing through Godzilla's atomic breath, and strikes Godzilla square in the chest. A massive explosion ensues as energy erupts from the point of impact. For a moment, it seems like the beast might fall. But Godzilla, tapping into reserves of strength, pushes back one last time. He takes a step forward, but then, his strength wanes. Realizing he's met his match, Godzilla turns slowly and makes his way back toward the sea. Thor watches as Godzilla disappears beneath the waves. The city is battered, but the threat has passed. Thor sighs in relief but remains vigilant. The citizens begin to emerge from their hiding places, cheering for their savior. Thor gives a humble nod. The threat is over, for now, he says. After that intense battle, let's break down what just happened. In this scenario, Thor emerges as the victor, not by defeating Godzilla outright but by stopping his advance and forcing a retreat. He protected the city and its people. Thor's adaptability was crucial. His mobility allowed him to avoid Godzilla's most devastating attacks. Godzilla faced challenges against Thor's speed and ranged attacks. His weaknesses prevented him from securing a victory. Consider some what-ifs. If the battle had continued, Godzilla's regenerative abilities might have allowed him to recover. Alternatively, if Thor had access to additional resources, he might have found a way to neutralize Godzilla more effectively. Godzilla's sheer size and durability could eventually overwhelm Thor. Thor's magic and divine powers give him advantages that Godzilla might not be able to counter. Ultimately, it's a close call. Both have attributes that could tip the scales. Now let's see what the fans have to say. This matchup has been a hot topic in fan communities for years. Some fans propose if Thor could communicate with Godzilla, they might even team up against a greater threat. Polls and discussions are pretty evenly split. Team Godzilla folks point to his nearly indestructible nature. Team Thor enthusiasts highlight his versatility and experience fighting gargantuan foes. There's no right or wrong answer, just a lot of fun speculation. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Who do you think would win, and why? So there you have it, the ultimate showdown between Godzilla and Thor. We've explored their origins, powers, and imagined how an epic battle between them might play out. Whether you're rooting for Godzilla or cheering on Thor, it's all about enjoying these amazing characters and the worlds they come from. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride. It's been a blast imagining this what-if scenario with all of you. If you enjoyed this video, do us a favor and smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our next epic matchup. Got an idea for another legendary face-off or a topic you'd like us to cover? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing your suggestions. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay awesome.